Are you ready? What's up, folks? Just gonna walk and talk with you a little bit in this series of getting to know me. Touched on some very tough subjects, some things that some people will never be able to even relate to. But I know that I'm speaking into somebody's life, and I'm speaking somebody's heart, and I'm speaking somebody's life, because I'm not the only one that's ever gone through what I've gone through. And my entire life, it hasn't always been just horrible, bad things. But sometimes you have to speak about these horrible and quote-unquote bad things, because if for one, it creates a channel of openness. It lets you see somebody's heart, and it lets you see that you're not the only one going through these struggles and through these battles. But as you can see with the video title, this video is about suicide. And I don't want to go for too long on this, but suicide, suicidal thoughts, these sorts of things have been something that has played a role in my life, I wanted to say. And it started from a young age. It started from being a teenager, because, you know, I dealt with depression for the longest time. I dealt with depression, and I've always dealt with anxiety, and it's been something that it's something that doesn't go away. It's something that doesn't go away easily, and it's something that you kind of always struggle with. It's kind of something you always deal with, and I've talked about that in other videos. But at some point, you feel super low. At some point, you feel so low that you feel like you can't go on. And I know some people will take on the opinion of, oh, well, it can't be that bad. Life just can't suck that bad. Life just has to go on. How can you want to take your own life? Well, let's see. When you get to a point where things are just so bad off, you maybe start contemplating, okay, well, what if life would go on without me? What if these people really don't need me? What if is the thing that starts plaguing you? All these thoughts go through your head, and at some point you're just like, you know what? Screw it. People don't need me. I'm not a needed thing. This isn't a life worth living. What am I doing? And those kind of suicidal thoughts happen. These things are reality. When I was 16, I tried to hang myself. 15. When I was 15, I took a belt, and there was a hook on my ceiling in my living room, and I tried to end it all. I hooked it around my neck, and I was dealing with so much, and I was missing so much school, and I hated myself. I was well over 300 pounds, and things were just not going great, and it felt like nobody loved me, even though thinking back, I know that there were people that were, but I was just completely hopeless. And when you become hopeless, that is when the enemy just strikes and just whispers that into your ear. Kill yourself. Just kill yourself. Life would be so much easier if you're just dead. When you give thought to that thought, oh no. Oh no. And in a moment of weakness, I about did it. Thank you, God, literally, that my mom walked in to the living room, and to see the horror upon her face, to see the absolute dread in her eyes, was just something that you will never forget. It honestly is something that made me want to live. Because when you feel so low and so helpless, like it doesn't matter if you live or die, and you just try to end it all. Seeing somebody so broken by the decision that you're making, at least it gave me hope. It gave me hope that one person mattered to me. That one person needed me. And that's all I needed to hear. That's all I needed to see. That's all I needed. Because I wasn't sure of that at all. Even though I was sure of that, I wasn't. Even though I truly was hopeless. I found hope in the midst of that pain. And I have lived with that burden of putting my mom through that, and I've lived with that anxiety and depression, those waves that come and go, to be dead honest with you, my whole life. That's not something that you just get over. It's not something that a pill can take away, even though they try to tell you it does. These moments happen, and I ask for prayer all the time, because I would never want to get so hopeless where I start believing those lies like I'm not important anymore, and try to do that. And no, Keith doesn't need to be on suicide watch. I just want you to realize that this is a real thing that people go through. These are real thoughts that people go through, and maybe they're not something that's talked about. People compare themselves to each other in the gym every single day. People compare themselves to each other in the churches and on social media all the time, and that comparison is so detrimental to our health. It's so detrimental to our spirit, to our soul, because we start comparing ourselves and we see all these other successful people, these skinny people, these fit people, these whatever people, you fill in the blank, and then you start looking at your own life and you're just like, I don't have that, I want that, I'll never be able to get that. You start going down on a destructive road of thought, and then you start going downhill fast. That's where I came from. I came from poor. I came from almost hell, it felt like, at my house, between all the spiritual attacks, between the things that I was physically going through, between the things that I was putting myself through. It was, and then the attacks and the bullying, all sorts of stuff I'll get into that was going on at school. I didn't want to live in this life anymore. I didn't want it anymore. Seeing that hurt, that pain, that, oh my God, Keith, what are you doing, in my mom's eyes, I knew that somebody needed me. I knew that if I made that decision, I knew that if I went through with that, then I would literally be killing somebody else's spirit. I knew that I would literally be murdering somebody else's heart. And I needed that wake-up call. So if you're watching this video and you're contemplating suicide, if you have ever thought about it, please don't. Please don't, because you are important, you are loved, you are cherished, you're amazing, and I know that's some real stuff that you're going through, but it's not worth it. It's not worth it, because you're literally going to be sending somebody else on a path of destruction that you don't even know how detrimental the outcome will be. You making that decision will affect the lives of many people. I've literally, I had a best friend growing up. Me and Tony held hands walking to school every day in grade school, and his mom made us stop because she said that's gay. But we were that close. And Tony, long story short, in my freshman year, was it my freshman year, he killed himself. He even had a little, he had a little, no, it was my sophomore year, he had a little girl, and Tony killed himself. Let's just put it that way. Tony killed himself, and that affected me, that affected his mom, that affected his sister, that affected his family, that affected my school, it affected everybody. I don't know what he was going through. I don't know exactly what he was struggling with, but I know that decision hurt so many people, and I'll never forget it. I couldn't even imagine what my life, or what other people's lives would be like if I wasn't here right now. And I mean, obviously life goes on, but I'm so happy to be alive. I'm so happy to speak into other people's lives. I'm so happy to help anybody that comes my way, and to motivate them and to get them into being the best version of themselves. I couldn't imagine not being alive right now. I couldn't imagine not having my cats and my mom and my girlfriend and all my best friends and my people. I couldn't imagine this not being a thing. I couldn't imagine not speaking to you right now. But all that could have been erased if I would have ended it. So that's an aspect of my life that I don't really talk about every single day, but it's a reality, and it's something that happened. It's part of my past, and it's strengthening my future, because I can help you, or hopefully help you realize that it's not worth it, and hopefully help you realize that you have a plan, you have a purpose of your life, and you're awesome. So this is just another episode of getting to know me a little bit better. So I hope you like this video, share this video, because somebody needs to hear some hope, and somebody needs to hear that they're not alone. Like and subscribe. This is woo.